All right, welcome back to Mars Radio. Sitting down for another interview. Right now, we're sitting down with singer TJ Marion.
Yes, sir.
TJ, go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody. Let them know who you are, what you do.
All right. My name is TJ Marion, and I sing music. I sing out of the passion of my heart. So anything any song that you hear that I release is kind of a story that I'm representing for a particular audience, and I'm singing stories that I've either personally experienced or witnessed myself, or with firsthand knowledge of. Other than that, I try to give a holistic point of view of what it's like being a young black male in California, a young black male in the United States, just being someone that's been marginalized against in the state of California or just in the United States, in the school system everywhere. I just trying to give a different perspective and vent at the exact same time. So some of my stories may just be me venting about some frustration I may have had, or me discussing uh, an outlook on something that I think could have been done differently, or spoken of differently.
Okay, so you're a singer,
Yeah.
a very opinionated,
Yeah, very
deep
opinionated.
singer.
A little
Apparently,
bit.
I was like, "Hey, so tell them what your name is," and there you go. No, yeah, it's one of the things that I think so cool about you. You definitely have a different spirit than the average person. So it's a good spirit, and I'm excited that the Mars Radio viewers and listeners get to jump into your mind for a couple minutes. So thank you for doing the interview with us.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, so let's go ahead and start from the beginning. Where are you from?
Oh man, that's like I was telling you earlier. It's a little complicated story. I like to say, uh, in general, I'm from California because there's not a place in California that I don't feel at home at. Being that I was born and raised in Bakersfield, there was a lot of pit stops I had throughout the way. Although I was born in Bakersfield, I grew up in Los Angeles for a period of time, so I experienced the 1992 LA riots. I got to see the gang truce that was out there. Being that I was in South Central at the time, like it was just wild to see buildings burnt down. And like the craziest thing from that experience, I should say, was school was shut down for about a week or two. But then when we finally got back to school, we were riding on the bus, and many people from LA can express this. Like on the bus ride back to school, it looked like a war zone. Like there's nothing out there, everything's burnt down to the ground. Um, and the thing that was most memorable for me for that, besides the looting and things of that nature, was on the bus ride to school, there was a sign that said "Thank you." That was the only sign that was up. It was a thank you sign, a Taco Bell. It was a Taco Bell thank you sign, but Taco Bell was burnt to the ground. The only sign that was there was "Thank you." It was
Wow.
just hella ironic just to see that, and then like as an adult to know that all of that was done was is because of injustice of some sort that the people felt, but we did that in our neighborhood instead of going all the way just a few miles north a little bit. We could have went
Hmm.
to different
Right.
areas, but that would have been a whole different outlook to that whole situation if the hood went into Beverly Hills and started looting out there. Like
Yeah.
the military was already out there and they were blocking those areas so they couldn't go to those areas, but it would have been a different experience. And maybe today, who knows what it would have been like.
Yeah.
It just seemed like it was misguided at the
I
end of the
think
day.
if the LA riots would have happened in those neighborhoods that you're talking about, the LA riots would have lasted 5 minutes.
5
Because the
minutes
cops would have came out there and killed as many people as it took to get everybody to stop.
to get it
I know
in
when
order. Like, cause yeah,
my
LA,
perspective is when they were fucking up their own shit, the cops were like, "Hey, that's them."
right,
They was letting everybody burn down their own shit. They were letting everybody
right.
destroy their own neighborhoods.
That's the sad part about it.
Yeah,
Like that's the part that
and
no
even
one
most
really listens.
recently, there was reports of government officials putting bricks in neighborhoods to help with the looting and stuff. Like piles of bricks and shit to destroy stuff would just show up in the neighborhood, just like
just
on
randomly,
pallets and shit. Like
right?
what?
But see, that's a trick that I don't. A lot of us haven't been like privy to. A lot of the times, like these gang warfares that are going on. If you really look at the reports, there's been a cop that's been dressed up as a Crip or a Blood going into the opposite territory and doing that and running off. And so now it instigated a whole war that was not even really true in the first place. Like it's just at the end of the day, like I don't know what you would express that as, but it's frustrating and it's sad to see
Yeah,
because these are people that at the end of the day, regardless of what the choices they made, if you really just take a step back, it's just somebody misguided somewhere
yeah,
and made it a left where they should have made a right, and they just kept making that same left, and nobody was there to correct it, and that's it. And so that's what I'm trying to do with my music, even though it may not sound like it a little bit, but that's
right.
what it's some jewels in there if you really pay attention.
Okay, so you grew up in Southern California for the most part, either Bakersfield or the LA area.
Yeah.
What were the differences between Bakersfield and LA?
Oh man, one of the biggest things that I got to notice in regards to uh, or I guess one of my challenges growing up in LA and in Bakersfield was growing up in Los Angeles. There was in both cities there's a sense of individuality and a sense of I need to make it on my own. I need to stand on my own 2 feet. The only difference between LA and Bakersfield with that is in Los Angeles it's a bit more grittier. It's a bit more grimier out there than it
Yeah,
is in Bakersfield. There is a sense of togetherness in Bakersfield, but it's still some grit and grime behind that. And just in LA, there's is more of a dog eat dog world out there. That's just survival of the fittest to its finest.
yeah.
In Los Angeles and in Bakersfield, maybe because it's a little bit more resources because of the oil that's out there, maybe because uh, simply just the oil. That's the difference in the situations with amongst the people. But other
I
than
would
that,
just assume that LA would have more rivalries since there's more gang culture in LA.
we'll
That
see.
that's why you would expect there to be more, like you said, more grimy and more grit
Yeah,
because there's more negativity going around in LA because more people are at each other's throats.
that's true. That's true too. It's just you just got. I guess you just got to know where to be
Yeah,
if
for
you're
sure.
looking for those. And
Or more importantly, where not to be.
exactly, we're not to be
Yeah,
in either of those situations because you would hate to go to visit Los Angeles or Bakersfield and then end up on the news for any reason other than doing something great.
no, it's never a good thing to be on the news.
Right.
No, I've never seen the news and been like, "Oh wow, that's really awesome of that person." No, you don't want to be on the news.
I understand that. I can
Maybe
get
the
that.
newspaper, but not the news.
Well, that was the reason. Right. Speaking of that, like that's the whole reason why, for a period of time, I stopped watching the news. Is because
Mm,
once I graduated high school, all the people that I was friends with, we started making different choices immediately. Like, bad. Like, I went off to college. My friends, so fresh out of high school, he's shooting somebody in the face, making the news off of that.
mm,
Another one of my friends is in the news for getting shot in the head. Another one of my friends
yeah,
is like robbing people. This is what I'm seeing on the news. So it was like it was depressing for me for a period of time just to watch uh, my peers uh, just not come making out what they wanted to be. Like I remember thinking to myself, like, damn, this is how we make the news though. Like I
yeah,
remember on football, we're on the football squad, like we trying to make the news clips, we trying to make the newspaper.
right.
But now these same dudes that I'm with, you know, they in the news, but they shooting people in the
Yeah,
face.
it's not good news.
They running down the street. They're they're robbing. They're having shootouts at nightclubs, and then the car that they're in is on the news. Like I can't even necessarily kick it with y'all right now. It's too hot. Like
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's
you
just
might be on the news on accident.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
the whole situation. It's just crazy.
So
Just
where did you go to college?
I went to college at Cal State Bakersfield. I stayed out there. Like
Oh,
that's
okay.
why it's difficult for me to say exactly
Yeah.
where I'm from because on paper it say Bakersfield a lot. It
Yeah.
say Bakersfield a
What
lot.
did you study, or did you finish?
Yeah, I finished. I got a bachelor's. Well, I double majors when I got my bachelor's. So I got a bachelor's in theater. I got a bachelor's in political science, and then Cause I just wanted to make some money, so I still went right back to school and got a master's in public administration. So I could at the end of the day make not only my parents proud, but like my siblings. I'm the oldest one.
Wait, so you're saying you got two bachelors and a master's?
Yeah.
Damn, you're supposed to be like an engineer or something, ain't you?
I just picked.
Yeah.
I didn't pick the great mag. I didn't pick the best of majors to
Damn.
make money. I picked majors that at the end of the day,
You should be doing
it's your
something up
heart.
at Tesla.
That's, I could have majored in that, but they didn't.
You should
They
have
had
one of them
computer
lab
engineering
coats
up
on, bro,
there.
with glasses and a clipboard.
I got glasses and I got the clipboard in the
Oh,
car because I'm
okay.
doing behavioral health now. But
Yeah.
that's uh that's where my passion was. That's kind of it's weird to say. Like I went to school and got a education in all these different areas, and then my work experience is not necessarily what matches my educational background. Like my work experience is all behavioral health. My my educational background is the public sector, so it's related, but it's supposed to be off of finances. I'm master's of public administration, so I'm supposed to be in the county office, county building, sitting up here making sure these farmers are in check with their
Yeah.
businesses and or with their loans or their grants and stuff like that. And like
I'll leave the farmers alone, man. They all right.
that's it. Was look, I'm like being someone that chases after money, not necessarily chases after, but trying to hustle, find different ways of bringing in multiple sources of income. Because that's the way it's supposed to be. Like
Right.
you can't have one source of income, have multiple sources of income, so you could kick your feet back a little bit. But you got to grind a little harder just to get that situated first. But when when we first met at the time, I was doing Uber and I was working with the Social Security Administration, but
Right.
I was using Uber as a vehicle to try to like promote my music and whatnot. But by doing that, I got to meet so many different people. Like I got to meet a lot of these farmers and share, or like a lot of the farmers out here and the sheriffs and have some real deep conversations with them. Like it was crazy
Yeah.
because of the drought that recently happened or that's been happening. My concern was like, all right, if the drought is going up and our water bill is going up, how much y'all paying for water? He was like, we don't we don't see a increase in our water rates.
Mm.
Like, but you guys are the one that's really using it. Like with a lot of the flood irrigation, it was like, yeah, we're not trying to change from that because that's what we use, and it's gonna cost more money. But regardless, at the end of the day, if there's a drought, if there's less workers for us, at the end of the day, we're still gonna make the same bottom dollar. You guys, as the taxpayers, are gonna suffer the most out of it. And that's what's like, what? Like,
Yeah.
we got to do something crazy, something different about that. Just talk about that some kind of way.
Well, I can tell you right now, ain't no damn drought. Everything's flooded.
That's true. It's
California is at least 10% underwater right now.
true. Right, but the coldest part about it though is next year our levees ain't fixed. None of the stuff that we would use to store this water, we don't got it. Right. We don't have none of that right now. So even though we flood it, all this water just gonna get right back to the ocean, and then come next year we're gonna be right back in this drought because we haven't did the infrastructure that we need to take care of the state that we as we got it.
Yeah, that's because you're over here driving Uber instead of being an engineer, bro. You're supposed to be over there taking care of them levees and engineering something about something.
Yeah, water waste and water maintenance. I know a little bit about it, but that's not what my passion was. Like my passion is with the people, trying to
You're over
talk
here
to
trying to
them.
be Brian McKnight instead of Brian McScientist.
Yeah.
So let's jump into the music, man. What kind of sound would you say that you have as far as music?
I don't have a sound. I'm the most pliable artist that's out there. Like,
Oh, you got a sound, man.
I got a sound.
You definitely got a sound.
I can't call it.
I call it pain music.
Pain music.
Yeah, because when you sing, right? Like, let's say you got hit by a bus and you made a song about it. At the end of your song, I'm gonna feel like I got hit by a bus.
Okay.
That's the kind of music you make, right? I'm not saying you're limited to one or two things. I'm not even saying a subject. I'm just saying I could feel the pain in the music when you make it, when you sing.
I get okay. That's what I was trying to figure out what I would label it, and that's just kind of what you're leading towards. I was trying to like new prog soul is what I was trying to be. Like I don't know
Sometimes you
what
hear
that is.
music and you're like, oh, that's a cool song. And then sometimes you hear music and you just say, I believe that person.
Right.
And then
Right.
sometimes you feel that music so much you're like, man, I can feel what that person is feeling.
Right. Right.
Right. And that's what I would say what kind of artist you are. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes when I hear your music, I'm like, damn. You know what I mean?
Okay,
I'm
I
like,
get that.
ooh, I'm glad that didn't happen to me.
Well, see, that's because my background. I guess because I grew up singing in the church, like
Yeah.
as as early as I could get a solo in church. I tried to get it, but they wouldn't give me a solo until I was able to sing in front of the church. Like I've been
Yeah.
singing for a while, but when they finally let me, that's when I started singing. Like I've been singing my heart out
No,
ever
you're a real
since.
soulful dude, man. I believe the music that you make, and you know, I'll never forget when I first met you. You showed me a song called "Thousand Miles,"
Yeah,
and that's when I was like, man, this guy's different.
that
This
song
guy's
was.
different. It was like, you remember the hook?
Yeah,
Go ahead and hit him. Hit him with a little two piece real quick.
it
I
was.
would walk 1,000 miles.
I would walk 1,000 miles for you. Walk 1,000 miles for you. There's no distance. There's no distance. There's no distance. There's no distance. I won't go. Oh, oh. I'm just
Yeah,
a little sharp at this little
yeah,
part, but that's
yeah.
all good.
When we recorded it, you recorded it different octaves, but that works too. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so I like your style because it's different. It's very soulful. Um, and so, in your opinion, you would say that you get that feeling or you give that feeling off because of your life experiences.
Yeah, like I'm trying to not only my life experiences, but the artists uh that inspire me at the end of the day. Like
And who are they?
at the end of the day, all California artists, to be honest. Anybody from the state of California, from Tina Marie to Ice Cube to Sterling to E40 to the state of California is a heavy influence in my music. But
Okay.
outside of that, anybody that brought passion behind their lyrics or passion behind their voice when they said it. So obviously Tupac, and then of course, you're speaking on passion, Whitney Houston, then some Nina Simone. Like I'm all over the place. Like
Yeah, that's good though.
even like Johnny Cash to a certain degree. Like
Okay.
he had a raspiness in his voice that I try to mimic that you can't get nowhere unless you have that. It's a pain that's behind that raspiness that's right
Yeah.
there. Like you can't get that unless you experience something like that. And like at first I was trying to copy it, but then I hit some pain in my my life. I could do it,
Yeah.
so that's just what it was. But it's just being able to articulate the feeling that I have right then that the beat is giving me. If that's what the beat gives me, that's what I'm going to portray in the song. At the end of the day, like the my genre shift just because of the type of music that I heard. If I heard the music playing a certain way, I felt it in somewhere in my heart, somewhere in my body and my soul, to where that's the way I have to sing it. Like it may be talking about smoking weed. That's what it felt like to me right
Yeah.
there with that beat said. Or it may be about heartbreak. It may be
Right.
about love. It may be about whatever it may be. Um, I always just try to give from like my favorite artists. Uh, they wrote from real life experiences. Like Nas says that he says that he's an artist or that took from whatever he saw in the streets and then foretold about it. And then same thing with Ice Cube. He was saying that it gives reality rap. And like I didn't mention this and I don't really like to talk about it, but this is I guess the perfect platform to do it. Like I grew up going into the Lynch Mob Studios because my cousin is KD. Like I don't like we were talking about this earlier. Like I
Hmm.
don't like asking for help. Like
Right.
he's still out here making music. You still don't see me on a record with my cousin KD because I think that's just too easy of a jump in the game. Like I'm trying to really solidify myself as that artist of
Hmm.
I've been doing all of these different type of styles and music that's out there, and just be respected for my pen and my artistry. And right now, it took me a while to accept that people are seeing that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's out there now. Like people are starting to see, like, oh, his pen is actually out there. It's pretty dope because
Mm-hmm.
I besides doing music with Livewire, I was doing music with Sadat X back in the day, like with my group that I was with local MU12, and I was writing choruses and hooks for them. But just because I was a bi-coastal group, it was hard for me to link up with them
Yeah.
because of my children's mother. She had a inflammatory disease that at the end of the day, I felt uncomfortable leaving her side just to go do whatever I wanted because it wasn't necessarily guaranteed that when I get back, that's who I was going to be coming back to. It might not work out right. So I wanted to foster that and nurture that as best as I could before I branched out and did what my dreams were, because uh, she would honestly tell me like she felt like she was on limited time. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
nah, you good. Like we gonna do this together and rock it out. But you know, God bless her soul and everything. But you know, God saw what he needed to do, and he led her to a point to where she reached her whatever God's plan was for her to do. She did that, and I was just blessed enough to spend time with her and have children with her by the grace of God. Like
Right.
it's hard to this day for me to see them growing up without her, but like we're doing our best. We're moving forward. Like uh, right now, it's still kind of like awkward to say, but like I got a girl right now, and she's been able to support me in a manner that I never knew I needed. But being like with her, like we linked up just because I wasn't even looking for a girl at the time when I found Monica. Like we were sitting out there just basically lost souls and trying to figure out our way, and that somehow it became to something beautiful what we got now. So we trying to build like something dope, build a family that I guess nobody's seen before. Like I'm trying to be like the black not the Brady Bunch. Well, even though I got a song called the Ghetto Brady Bunch already, but I'm trying to be like the Partridge Family,
Mm.
like have us out there singing and doing our own little doo-wop and encouraging others to follow their dreams.
I feel it. I feel it. So your daughter's mother died.
Yeah, she passed away.
What did
Uh,
she pass away of?
she passed away in 2019 of an inflammatory disease called sarcoidosis. Like a lot of people don't know what that is, but it's the exact same thing that Bernie Mac passed away from.
Mm.
So it's his was of the lungs, but hers was of the vascular system. So instead of like everybody else, the easiest way to say it is like Wolverine. His immune system was so overworked that nothing made him sick. But in real life, that's not how it go down. Like if your immune system is sitting up there overworking, it's about to attack something. It's not
Mm.
just gonna sit there and be like, oh, I'm ready. I'm ready. No, it's about to go. All right, well, I ain't got nothing to attack. Let me go attack this heart.
Mm.
Let me go attack these lungs. Let me go attack these joints of yours. That's what it does because it thinks something is wrong, so it attacks it. So she had an inflammatory disease that attacked her descending aorta, which was right here. She had one when she was younger, a heart surgery when she was younger that affected her ascending aorta, but the one that was the most concerned was her descending one, which is the main blood vessel that goes to your heart, and it just got too big, and so her blood wasn't pumping properly. So that's how she met her demise because of that.
So she passed in 2019.
2019 in December, yeah.
And how did that affect you?
It changed me. It affected me in many ways. It made me more of a colder person, honestly. I was already like low key, not of the like some people will have back in the day would have called me an asshole, but now like I'm solid with calling myself an asshole.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like because it's a different world that you got to walk through when you're raising two kids on your own. Like it's just a different way of life. People want to necessarily uh, they see your kids and they want to give them all the love that's deserving that they deserve. But sometimes that's just a bit too much because when you're gone, I got to give them so much energy and so much time, and they think that's the way that it's supposed to balance out. But like we got to balance that out. So you got to distance yourself from certain things at certain times.
Did you feel that it was unfair she was taken from you?
To a certain degree, yes, and to a certain degree, no, because we were ready for it. Like it wasn't like a surprise. So, like most people, if they lose somebody young, they it's not expected. But this was something when I met her. This was something that we were facing since from jump. Like when we first got together, um, she was out on remission, so that means like she could have died when we first met, and we just got blessed to have all those years we had together because she was already out of remission, and we were able to get her back into remission multiple times and multiple times and multiple times, or time again and time and again. But after that time, like no medication. When God says it's time to go, no, ain't no medication that's gonna work. Ain't no treatment plan that's gonna work. It's just what it is.
How difficult was it to have the conversation with your daughters?
Oh man, that's the thing. When I'm haunted by that to this day, to be real. Like it was one when she passed. Uh, this is part of the reason why I don't answer the phone or talk on the phone to this day. Like I'm still triggered by it, just answering or dialing the phone for somebody because I had to call everybody to tell everybody that Christina passed away. Like I could have had somebody else do it, but as a husband, what type of man is letting another man do that for you or another woman do that for you?
Right.
So I had to stand up and do that and stand on my own. So when I took like a day, maybe 2 days to actually tell them. They were like, "Where's mommy? I'll tell you, I'll tell you, I'll tell you." And then when I finally sat down, I told them like, I told them the truth. Like their mommy's heart was too big, and God took her away from us. Like that's just what it was. Her heart was too big, and she couldn't last with it too long. She was a very loving person, but her heart was way too big for her to be here with us. So that's what God said He needed to do, is take her with Him.
Was that an ongoing? Is that an ongoing thing? Like, you still have to have conversations with your daughters up to this day about, do they get questions like why and all that stuff?
Well, that not necessarily so much why as much now, because we've addressed that a number of times, but it is something that I have to address with them all the time.
Right.
We have to go through like grief and loss therapy all the time. Like we have to. That's the way I structure my life. Like if you follow my Instagram page, you see us hiking, you see us going out. This is all therapy at the end of the day. Like we are out there doing things to keep our mentality stable, because mental health is real. Like it's being able to keep that together. Like I don't want to, like you don't want to act like some of these other artists out here that's losing their mental health and making a public fool of themselves.
So would you say your educational background helped prepare you for dealing with this and speaking to your children about it?
I can't say, not my educational background, just my work experience.
Excuse me, yes. Because that's what you're doing nowadays, right?
Yeah, I'm back in behavioral health. Yeah. Like I won't. Not only did as a child, like me having an experience similar to theirs. Like although I didn't grow up with my mother deceased or my father deceased, there was periods of times I was growing up without them. Like I lived in Bakersfield, my mother lived in LA, my father lived in Florida, and so to go to sleep at night and want a parent and they just not gonna be there, I know that feeling. I know it, but mine wasn't real. Like theirs was. It's like I wanted it. I was just mad I couldn't get it at the time I wanted it. This is something that they got to deal with, and I got to teach them how to cope with it at the end of the day, all day, every day. Like this is not a thing that it sucks, it's sad, but we can't break down about it. That's not how we was built. We not built like that. Like so I gotta be that model for them. Like I can't sit down and shut down. Like I ended up kind of doing when we first met. Like I kind of shut everything down. Right. Like I was like, I was geared like I'm gonna make this music work right now. Like, but it take money. Like you can't just be like, I'm gonna do music. I'm gonna do all these hooks and whatnot. But like, it takes money. Like if you want to have a storyline or a video put together properly, like you got to put the money behind it. Like you could pay for the videographer, but the videographer just gonna come up there with the camera. Like if you don't got the bread to show off the stuff that you want to show off, or show off the stuff that you had, or whatever, like you got to put some cheese up
It's a
there.
process.
It's a real process.
It's not just to show up and boom, we on.
Right. It's music. It's a music business, y'all. Like if you don't got your business right, you just doing something for fun, honestly. Like
I
you
heard
not
somebody
playing.
say it's music business, and when you put it like that, music business, the business part is bigger than the music.
Right. That's
just like the two words. So
exactly.
if you pay attention to those two words,
there's a whole lot more letters in business than
then
it is in
there's
music.
music, right? So the business counts more, and you
Right.
got to have more business than music.
And you got to be low key business savvy, because it's like it's not only is it business, you got to be business savvy. Like it's wolves out here, like it's wolves everywhere. But it's like if you don't know what you're doing, somebody gonna get you. Like that's just what it is, and that's the name of the game. You can't get mad at it.
Yeah,
that's just what it is. Like
you either kick a game or you getting kicked on you.
That's it.
Yeah, so, Uncle Hunk was sitting in that chair yesterday. Said the same thing.
That's what it is.
That's what he said.
Real.
He said you either running game or somebody's running game on you.
And that's it.
And they're gonna run game on you until you learn the game.
That part.
So, but hey, it is what it is. But rest in peace. And she's in a better place. And I commend you for dealing with that tough situation. And much respect to you and your family, and prayers for your daughters. I hope they grow up and become very strong, powerful women.
Yeah.
So let's lighten things up a little bit. All right. Let's say you got an unlimited budget and you got everybody in the game in your phone, so you can call up whoever, and money isn't an object. Which 5 artists are you getting on your next album?
Which 5 artists I'm getting on my next album? I'm already on them. Then, if that's what it is, if I'm
no, you just got it today.
I just got it.
You just got the numbers today, and you just got the budget today, and today you're starting your next album. So who are you getting on that album? 5 artists.
I'm gonna pick a singer. First singer I'm gonna pick is I'm either gonna have a song done with either Tank or Usher, just because of their vocal prowess. Next, after that, I'm going all rappers. Like I'm gonna try to get a song with any legend from the state of California. Like I'm not going to necessarily say which one, because of the fact that that's going to take all 5 of my spots right there. Like I got to see who's going to be like, all right, I got the time. I can do the song.
Well, it's not your last album. It's just your next album.
My next one, I'm just keeping it a buck. Like I'm already hoping that I could get Stone on there, like just off top. I'm already hoping I could get you on there off top. I'm already hoping I could get Veil. I get all the rest of Veil and True on the album. Just off
Live
top.
Wire aside.
So,
come on, man. You dodging the question.
Snoop on the album.
Okay, you're getting Snoop. You're getting Tank on the hook, and you got Snoop on one.
And I want Short on there.
You want 2 Short. Then you got 3 more spots.
If I could swing, and then if money is not a problem, I'm out here getting. I'm like, I don't know how much Jay-Z costs for a verse.
Okay, so you're getting Jay-Z, Snoop, 2 Short, Tank, and who was the other singer?
The next thing I said Usher on that one.
And Usher, okay, yeah. and then you know what? As you're turning in the album, your A&R loves the album so much they open up the budget for one more slot.
One more?
Yeah, one more slot. They say, you know what, TJ? Go back in one more time. You get one more song. Who you getting?
I'm getting T-Pain just
okay,
because
then you're getting
T-Pain. Just because T-Pain.
Hey, that's gonna be a dope album. The features alone will make people want to click it. Then when they hear it, they're gonna love it.
That's the prayer.
That's the plan, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we just gonna hit this lotto real quick and then make it happen.
That's what's up.
All right. Any last words for your supporters?
Stay tuned. I got an album coming out called More Confusion. It's just another play on my last mixtape series that I came out with when I first was doing music. The Mental Catharsis series. The More Confusion series is renamed. It was a project called Holy Fruit, but now it's called More Confusion because once I listened to the album, it didn't sound like it was competing necessarily with the Chronic, because that's what the Holy Fruit was a play on. it just sounded like I was adding more confusion to the game. Like it wasn't necessarily showing like I'm doing something different. Like even though each track and no is nothing like it out right now, but it didn't sound the way that titles represented it. More confusion made more sense. So on the album, I have songs on there titled Mrs. Officer, where I'm straight up going at the idea of police brutality, but I'm going at it at an angle of making it about F the police, but like in a
Literally.
sexual manner.
Yeah, literally.
And then I got a song because like I'm a father and I want like I'm a father of black daughters. So at the end of the day, like if there's a song out there, I want a man to sing a song to my daughter that I made. Like I'm gonna make that song out there.
Yeah.
Like so she know like all right, he took time to research or whatever. So I made a song called Ebony Brown, like knowing that black women like just stand up. Like Ebony Brown, can you please hear me? I want to be your man when I grovel at your feet. That's the hood. I just rapped it for you a little bit. I'm singing it, but that's that one. And then I have another song called On a Block, where if you listen to it, it's me rapping on there and to a certain melody, but it's literally, it sounds like I'm talking about pimping a hoe, but I'm not. I'm talking about my music career.
Right.
My music career was the hoe that I'm pimping out, like
Right.
how it's not making no money or how I need to do X, Y, and Z to make this money. Like you gotta pimp your music out right. You gotta do it right. That's what I'm doing. So just to give you a little snippet, those are my favorite songs right now. Oh, and set another last song because I see this right here, low key making me scared. It's a song called "Pass the Light." Like the power was going out at the crib, and I was praying to God, like, hey, like whatever I need to do, keep these lights on. So pass me the light, pass me the light. It's a play on words where I'm talking about a light from God. I'm talking about a light from some weed. I'm talking about a light in a spiritual awakening. Like I'm talking about all of that. And so I make my music kind of complex like that. And sometimes people get it, and most of the time people don't. But that's all right. I'm sorry if you don't get it. Like it's for those who actually know how to listen.
They'll get it when it matters. After everybody else gets it, they'll go back and get. They'll go back and get it.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be left out, so they'll be left out now.
But like, it's genius.
Once they notice, they're gonna. I mean, I've been listening since back in the day. You know how it goes, bro.
Right.
All right, so we're gonna do this Mars Radio Smoke Challenge. You ready, right? You smoke, right?
I do, bro. That's why I make this song. That's why
this is what we're gonna do.
I covered Justin Bieber's "Holy" song and made it about holy fruit, and took the whole album and made it a song.
Oh, you gonna be good with this.
So what I do? Just stand here.
You just chill right there, young man, and you let me take care of the rest.
Okay. Well,
so tell people where they can find you online.
You can find me at YouTube, on Instagram, Spotify, everything. It's TJ Marion. If you want to look at my music on Spotify, it's TJ Marion. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's TJ_Marion. I'm on Twitter. There's no underscore on that one. It's TJ Marion. That's it, straight, all letters. Dang, okay.
How's the smoke feeling?
It's all in my face. I'm glad I got my shades on or my glasses on.
Yeah.
It's also on my TikTok, TJ_Marion.
You be ticking and talking?
Yeah, well, I don't really do none of that other stuff. All you'll ever really see on my Instagram and social media page is
how you feeling the smoke challenge at this point?
Trying to breathe, like
you can breathe good.
I can breathe a little bit. Like I see the smoke, it's hard. It's just hard to breathe.
Yeah,
it's all good though. But again, TJ Marion on all social media platforms, no different.
You all right?
The letter T, the letter J, the letter MARION, and on some platforms there's the underscore right.
When's the last time you smoked?
This morning.
You smoked like this?
Hell no.
You didn't smoke like this?
Not at all.
You doing all right?
I'm okay. I'm hoping I'm all right.
Yeah?
I just can't see.
No, you ain't gotta see. You just gotta smoke. You still feeling good?
I'm all right.
You all right?
Yes, sir.
All right. It's Mars Radio, TJ Marion.
Shut it down,
and
bro.
We out.